What's up guys, I'm back. Today we're going to be out doing our last workout of the Mesocycle that I'm going to be showing to you guys. So it's the second upper body day, third of the week. So what we're going to do today is we're first going to do incline push-ups, and then we're going to do dumbbell flies, pull-ups, lateral raises, which I've already shown to you, and then the last one will be tricep overextension. So one extra exercise than all the ones before, but we have less sets per exercise. I'll break all that down as we go, but that's it. Let's go to the first exercise. All right, so the first exercise, like I said, we're gonna be doing an incline push-up. So you might be asking, oh, why are we doing inclines? I'm strong enough, I can do push-ups on the ground. The incline, you always wanna hit different angles of the chest. You wanna do flat, decline, incline, because it hits different pectoral muscles. Your pecs are an interesting muscle. It's multi-pennant muscle, which means you have insertions along your sternum and also your clavicles. So different angles hit different muscle fibers differently, and also your front delts and triceps. We have two different chest exercises. So it's going to be higher volume, more of like a metabolic exercise than going strictly for like strength. So it's going to be high repetitions, at least around 15 or so, or greater. And it's going to be 2 sets of the incline push-ups. So we have a bench here. Any kind of box, bench, table, anything you got at home will work. It's just like regular push-up. Feet, hands flat on the bench. Keep your spine in each position, core engaged. All the way down, nice and controlled. Elbows at a 45-degree angle, and back up. So we always want to make sure 45 degree. Perfect. There it is for you. So when you're going back, I think I explained this when we were doing the bench press. You always want to go to 45. Good for shoulder health. You don't want to be in too tight because it's going to be very tricep dominant, which is not that point of the exercise. That's what the tricep overextensions will be when we get to it towards the end of the workout. And you don't want to go out wide like a 90-degree angle because that's bad for your shoulder health. All right, and that's it for the incline push-up. All right, guys, so next exercise, like I said, is going to be dumbbell fly. This exercise is going to be 2 sets. So you had 4 in total, 2 of the incline and 2 of the isolation. It's the isolation exercise. So if you noticed, for chest exercises throughout the week, we have our flat press, we have our incline press, then we have our isolation. So you're getting a little bit of everything, hitting all the different muscle groups in the pecs throughout the whole week. You don't have to cram it all into one day. So that's kind of the reason behind that. 2 sets. Again, it's more metabolic, lighter weights, so like 15 plus, just kind of depending on what kind of weight you have. All right, we'll get into it. Grab your weights. So just a few reps there to show you what it's going to look like. Personally, I like doing flies on the ground. You'll oftentimes see people doing flies on a bench at like the gym. I'm not a huge fan of that just because of shoulder health. Just like the other exercise with the incline push-ups, shoulder health is really important. People have lots of bad shoulders, so you want to protect those. So when you're doing a fly on the ground, it's not gonna cause any issues to your shoulder, ideally, because when you're going down, eventually your tricep and your elbow are going to hit the ground, and that gives you enough range of motion where you feel that stretch in the pec muscles when you go down, but not putting your shoulders at risk. So that's why I like to do that. Another key point is when you are setting up, when you keep core engaged, and squeeze your shoulder blades. So your rhomboids, the muscles in between your shoulder blades, are the opposing muscle group to your pecs. So if you're trying to engage your pecs the most possible, you want to squeeze those and shorten them so it lengthens out your chest so you get more of a stretch and a flex when you do your exercise. All right, so quick tip for that. Yeah, that's it. Move on to the next one. All right, so on the next one, we're going to move on to pulling, and the next exercise is going to be pull-up. So if you noticed, the first pulling exercise in the first day was a horizontal pull, pulling horizontally your body with the bent over row. Pull-ups is a vertical pull, so you're pulling yourself upwards. it's good to have a little bit of both in your program. Now, if you don't have like a pull-up bar at home that you can like hook into your door frame, or you don't have access to a gym yet, and all you have access to is some free weights, doing some kind of rowing movement is better than not doing any pulling at all. So if you don't have access to that, feel free to kind of repeat the bent over rows or do a different kind of rowing variation, such as like a pendulum or something like that. That's up to you. But for this one, I have 4 sets in a program, and in the program I wrote AMRAP, which means as many reps as possible, because the ability to pull and do pull-ups is highly individualized. Some people struggle with one, and some people can rep them out. So kind of choose your intensity that you feel comfortable with. And I'll first demonstrate a strict good push-up, and then I'll show kind of a cheater way, which is a little bit easier, but that's kind of progression up. So I'll demonstrate. All right, so those were some strict up-down pull-ups. That's personal. My favorite way to do it is start from a dead hang, pull up. I don't know if you noticed, but keeping the elbows at a 45-degree angle, because it's not just pressing that you want good shoulder health, you also want your pulling. And think about bringing your upper chest to the bar. A lot of people, when they do pull-ups, they're just like squirming and trying to get their chin up over it, and then their shoulders internally rotate, and that's bad mechanics. You want to think about keeping those shoulder blades squeezed, keeping your chest up against the bar. So now, if those are too challenging to get a full set in, what you can do is hopefully you can kind of reach the ground and hold onto your bar. If not, get like a stool or something to kind of stand on, and you're just gonna grab your bar and jump up and use a little bit of leg force to get yourself up, and do a little bit of a cheaty one. All right, up, and then slow yourself down as much as possible. Basically, you're trying to fight against gravity. Gravity's trying to pull you down, so you're trying to resist that and get the most out of the exercise as possible. Make sure you go all the way down, dead hang, so you get a good stretch in your lat, and then contract when you go back up. All right, that's it for the pull-up. All right, so the next exercise that we're gonna be doing is the lateral raise. We've already done that one on our first day of the Mesocycle, but we're gonna add a little bit of variation. So when you're doing the same exercise on multiple days, there's nothing wrong with that, but you wanna add a little bit of variation to the exercise, whether that be in technique or reps or intensity, being weight, you know. That's why, just so you're not creating any chronic overuse, especially with like lateral raises and smaller muscle groups, you doing the same motion over and over again can cause damage. So what we're doing this time is we're still doing 3 sets, but instead of that 8 to 10 rep range and that lower range, we're gonna be doing more metabolic, similar to our pecs, keeping the reps high, so 15 to 20 range. So I'll demonstrate real quick. I won't go over tips and tricks because I basically did that in the last one. I'll just demonstrate it real quick. Remember, pouring pictures. Boom. Those are lateral raises, 3 sets. You should be an expert at those now. All right, guys, so the last exercise in the workout for today is tricep overextensions. Do a little bit of tricep isolation, and the other upper body day, we do some bicep isolation. So we're just gonna do the opposite. We're gonna do tricep overhead extensions. I'm a big fan of that. If you're doing tricep exercise, you always wanna make sure you get some kind of overhead motion because of the anatomy of the tricep. There's 3 muscle heads, one being the long head, and the long head is not activated unless there's something like overhead. So if you're doing like tricep kickbacks or like cable push down or something like that, you'll get 2 of the heads, but you'll never get that other one. So you always wanna supplement with overhead, some kind of movement there. All right, there's gonna be 2 sets. As the Mesocycle goes along, it's gonna increase to 3, just like the bicep curls, but keep the volume low to start with, and 12 to 15 reps is the recommended. So I'll demonstrate for you guys. Make sure how I like to do it is to set the weight up on my shoulder and make like a C and hook it right here in the handle and my hand around the weight, and then put my other hand C right on top of it. So I have it nice and secure. If you need to, you can get a little bit of bounce with it. Start with it overhead, go for it. All right, that's tricep overextension. So tips and tricks on this one is you want to keep the elbows nice and tight as much as you can. You don't want to let them flare out. And then, as you can see, Miles kind of came to my side. You want to get it down deep, which I'm sure you saw with the video, because you want to, it's just like any muscle, you want the muscle to get stretched in this lengthened position, and then come up and flex at the top. So, as much as your shoulders allow it, get down as deep as possible, and come up and extend, and squeeze the muscle at the top. One last tip and trick is keep your core engaged, because people have a tendency to arch their back when they have weight overhead with any kind of overhead press or overhead tricep exercise. Just keep that gut sucked in, core engaged, and not overarching the back and tilting back. All right? All right, guys, so that was it for this exercise, day 3 of the Mesocycle. I will see you guys in 3 weeks when this one is done. Just follow through with the program. And in 3 weeks, we're gonna have Mesocycle, the Hypertrophy Mesocycle number 2 that you guys can follow along. We'll be putting out exercise again, but we'll be changing out the workout routine. We'll be changing the exercise selection and the volume and intensities of those exercises. So it'll be fresh and ready to go for you guys, and we'll demonstrate and put out the same kind of videos when that comes around. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and I appreciate watching. See you guys.